And Bonds hits one high. It's a deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone.
Now Booker with Tucker on him. Throws it up for 8. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead.
Minute remaining.
And they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Stacks on Stacks Lads. Joined with my guy, Mr. Swerving Irving Washington. Live from Los Angeles, California, home of the Dodgers, who are about to fucking beat the dog shit out of the Diamondbacks in this next series. Looking forward to that. That's probably gonna be the least entertaining series. I'm not even joking, dude. Because the Dodgers, like they've owned the Diamondbacks the last, especially this year they've owned them, but the last several years they've owned them. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that shit plays out. But welcome everybody to the show. Hope y'all enjoyed that. What might have been the shittiest fucking MLB wild card. If there was an argument for there not to be extended playoffs, this wild card series definitely proved it. Not a single series goes 3 games. It's over. I have a conspiracy that the MLB didn't want to compete with NFL tomorrow, so they made sure all the series. I'm just joking. I'm joking. But yeah, man, it was quite an interesting wild card series. A wild card opening round. Twins beat the Blue Jays 2-0. I kind of expected that. Diamondbacks beat the Brewers 2-0. Did not expect that. Rays and Rangers beat the Rays 2-0. I did not expect that. And the Marlins got swept by the Phillies. Did not expect that, dude. I thought there was going to be a more competitive series, to be honest. And what was your thoughts on the opening round?
The competition was definitely lacking. But when you put 2 and 2 together, am I really surprised? No. Did I want to see more competition? Yes. The only really shock is the way the Brewers lost, because they were pitching bad. They just couldn't get timely hits, and that's what the playoffs is all about. You gotta hit. You gotta have clutch hitting. If you don't have clutch hitting, your stay is gonna be short. And the Brewers proved it. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead, couldn't muster up another run the whole game. I think they had the bases loaded twice.
Twice, dude.
And couldn't score. And I think one of them was the bases loaded with 1 out.
1 out. And in the first 2 innings, they had like 7 runners in position and only scored 2 runs. And after honestly, the first inning, they scored 2 runs, and my buddy texted me. He's like, "Oh, the Brewers, that's good. They only scored 2 runs." I was like, "Yeah, but like they had runners on whole fucking inning, dude, and they only got 2 runs. Like that was a problem the last game, dude. They couldn't score runs with runners in position."
The Blue Jays and the Brewers have the same problem. They both should go trade for one of them should trade for Pete Alonso because he's available.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you got to do something, man, for sure. Yeah, the Blue Jays, I mean, dude, they were atrocious, bro. They couldn't fucking do shit. And then not only can they not hit with runners in position, but they got Vlad Guerrero Jr. fucking leading off like 10 feet from the second base and getting picked off. It's like, bro, you're not Ronald Acuna Jr., bro. I never understood why that dude wore.
Stall my boy out. Stall him out.
Bro, they need to like tell that dude you cannot wear an oven mitt on your hand because it makes him think that he can actually run and steal bases, and you can't, dude. Like, what are you doing, bro? Come on, man. What the fuck? But man, like I knew the Twins were gonna win that series. That was like the least shocking series to me. But like the Rays, dude, they went 39 consecutive innings in the postseason without scoring a fucking single run until they scored a run in the 8th inning today. Like they got in. They were so good throughout the season, and then they get into the postseason, they can't hit.
Yeah, a lot of they what's name can be a lot of they you can blame you can't really blame the pitching for them not being able to hit, but missing Wander Franco doesn't help at all. But yeah, they just got dominated, bro. There's no other way around it.
Yep.
They just gotta get better, try to add some bats. Or whatever they gotta do, they gotta add some hitting this offseason.
Well, the one thing I will say is this, and we kind of talked about this throughout the regular season too, is that teams that rely on the long ball often struggle in the postseason.
Yeah.
You know, and the Twins rely on the run ball. However, you know, with Max Kepler and Royce Lewis in the lineup, they're second in WRC plus in the MLB, which is why I like kind of lean towards them. And the Blue Jays, on the other hand, they can't hit with runners in scoring position to save their fucking lives. The Marlins, like, they came into the postseason hella hot, Irv. Like, they won, like, 6 of their last 7 games. And, like, so
yeah, they was balling. They was hitting there. I think they was averaging, like, 5-6 runs a game. So,
yeah, they were playing hella well. I thought it was going to carry over. It didn't. And on the flip side, like, the Diamondbacks came in limping, dude. Like, they played like shit their last, like, 2 weeks. And then they ball out against the Brewers. So I mean that was the most surprising thing to me. And the Brewers they got no fucking dog in them, dude. Christian Yelich is on the fucking post game today getting an interview talking about like he's satisfied with just being competitive and shit. Like, bro, I can't have my best players talking like that, bro. That ain't
that's not a good look, especially you don't play a sport to compete, you play a sport to win. So
yep. That was not a good look.
You should have just held that in.
So what's your thoughts on the Division Series coming up? So we got the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks, the Braves versus the Phillies. We got the Orioles versus the Rangers, and the Twins versus the Astros. What's your thoughts?
The Twins versus the Astros probably going to be a pitching battle, and it's going to come down to timely hits. I think there's going to be a lot of unders in that series. Might have a couple overs. Probably the first game might go over because Royce Lewis might get the bases loaded and hit a grand slam. But it's gonna be some interesting matchups. The Rangers and the Orioles definitely gonna be an interesting matchup because it's 2 teams that don't have a lot of playoff experience outside of a couple players. Well, the Royals have. I mean, not what the hell the Royals. The Orioles have no playoff experience outside of like 3 guys.
Yeah.
And the Rangers have Corey Seager,
Semien.
And
Eovaldi,
couple of world champions and a couple of
Montgomery.
So we'll see. I think it's gonna be real interesting. Now, the one thing about the Orioles I did like heading into the postseason, the pitching was pretty lights out. So if that could carry over, they only got to score 2 to 3 runs, and they could beat you if the pitching's on. And if they could shorten the game with that bullpen. With Fuji, honestly, I would move one of those starters to the bullpen and make him a high leverage guy. I thought that was pretty smart what what's the name did.
They already did. Tyler Wells is the closer now.
Okay, so yeah, that was really smart moving. The Twins moved 2 of their starting guys to the bullpen and made them high leverage guys. So I think that's a smart move too.
Yeah, my biggest concern about the Orioles, and obviously, you know, I'm the king of the Orioles bandwagon. My biggest concern though is that, like, you know, your 2 best pitchers are Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez, and you know Grayson Rodriguez is a rookie. Like, this is his first MLB season, and then Kyle Bradish is like he's already surpassed career innings, and you know while he's pitched very well since you know his first 2 starts. I mean, he has like a 2.6 ERA since his first 2 starts. You know, I don't know if the moment is going to be too big, and it might not, dude. He might be phenomenal, dude. It's just one of those things you just don't know.
Yeah, you gotta wait and see.
It's an unknown commodity, so that's and same thing goes for like the Orioles' entire lineup, dude. Like, you know, they are good in comeback wins, and they do perform in clutch moments, so maybe it carries over into the postseason. But I mean, we're still talking about a very, very, very young team, dude. Where you know their best players are in their first or second year. You know what I mean? So, this is a place where the Orioles are going to be for a long time coming, but it could be very similar to the Astros in 2015. 2015, when the Astros first made the playoffs, with Carlos Correa and like Jose Altuve,
George Springer,
Jordan, those guys, and they lost
They
in
didn't
the.
have Jordan yet. They had George Springer. They had George Springer, Altuve, Bregman, and Carlos Correa.
Bregman wasn't up yet, I don't think. I don't think Bregman was up yet, but still, nonetheless, like it was the beginning of that Astros run, right? And they faced the Royals, and the Royals beat them. The Royals went on to win the World Series. So this could be a similar thing to that. Like, I'm not expecting the Orioles to win the World Series. I do think they get past the Rangers for sure, but I don't expect them to win the World Series. But I do think that this is the start of something very big for a very long time for the Orioles. So a lot to be stoked about in Baltimore. As far as the NL goes, what's your thoughts on those two series, the Dodgers and Diamondbacks and the Braves and Phillies?
Well, I think the Dodgers and Diamondbacks have the potential to be a sweep, honestly. But the thing with the Diamondbacks is they are very scrappy. They never give up, so that could help them out. But in the regular season, man, they just got dominated by the Dodgers. Now, the playoffs could be a different story, but a young team like that, I don't know if they have what it takes to beat a veteran-laden team like the Dodgers. And plus, the Dodgers, I know we leaning on rookie pitching, but if they could shorten the game and not give up a lot of runs, that bullpen's been pretty lights out the last 2.5 months in the season. So I definitely see a more competitive series with the Braves and the Phillies than I see with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that the Phillies, though, like, I don't know, bro. That team is like, they're like not that good in my opinion. I know they got Bryce Harper, dude. I know they got JT Realmuto and Trey Turner and stuff. But like, dude, that team is like just so average to me, bro. Like, they're just like yeah, the pitching dominated the Marlins, dude. But is that more of like the Marlins hitting, or is it the Phillies pitching? Because like the Phillies haven't looked that good like the last several months coming into that. I don't know, dude. I don't know what to take from the Phillies, but I said the same thing last year, and the Phillies made a fucking World Series run. So, I'm not gonna like put it past them, but I definitely think the Braves lineup is it's a whole different monster than the fucking Marlins, dude. And like the Marlins' three best hitters couldn't fucking get a hit in the entire series. Now you got to navigate 9 of those guys. You know what I mean? It's not like, because the back end of the Marlins lineup is fucking trash, dude. Like, if those dudes get a hit, that's like,
it's like the Book of Revelations. That's not easy.
Like the Marlins aren't even banking on those guys getting a hit, dude. Like the entire game. So it's like when they do, it's like, okay, we gotta do something. So I think that's gonna be the biggest thing with that series. But I'm with you about the Dodgers, dude. I think the Dodgers pretty much. I think they control that Diamondback series for sure. All right, let's talk some college football, which is why we're here. We're gonna talk through a few big games on Saturday, break them down, handicap them. The first game we have is Georgia versus Kentucky. Currently, Georgia's laying 14.5, and the total is 47.5, basically everywhere. What's your thoughts on this game?
What game is it again?
Georgia, Kentucky.
Georgia, Kentucky, man. I want to take Georgia. I want to take Kentucky with the points so bad. Is Devin Leary going to rise to the occasion? Because you're not going to run for fucking 300 rushing yards in Georgia. So you could toss that out the window. You're not going to run like you did against them. Like you did against Florida against Georgia.
Yep.
So that's my biggest question mark. I think Kentucky can definitely cover this game because Auburn covered, and I think Kentucky is way better than Auburn. But Auburn was at home. Yep. So traveling on the road makes a big difference in college football.
The other thing I will say about Auburn too is like, Georgia didn't look good for like 2.5 quarters, and then they turned it on at the end. and I think they like finally realized like, okay, we're the better team. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with home field advantage for Auburn. I'm not entirely sure, but it was weird because like you're watching the game and like Georgia could barely move the ball for like the first 2.5 quarters, and all of a sudden they throw the ball to Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers had one catch in the first 2.5 quarters, and he finished the game with 6 catches and almost 200 yards.
College football, you're not feeding them. They got to fix that. But that new offensive coordinator is his first year calling plays, so he'll probably like trying to adjust on the fly. But bro, you got to find a way to get your best playmaker the ball. Honestly.
Yep.
Now, the thing you got to pay attention to in this game too is Devin Leary does have 5 interceptions so far, so that's basically interception a game average. Now, if he turns the ball over once or twice against Georgia, that could be a nightmare depending on where he turns the ball over. So turnovers are never a good thing. So that because most of the time they lead to points, whether it be a touchdown or a field goal or just an outright pick six. So if Leary can take care of the ball, and Georgia can muster up some type of respect in the run game and try to hit them over the top with some play action. Because Georgia's secondary ain't as good as it was last year, and they could definitely be had.
Well, their secondary wasn't that great last year either.
Yeah, it wasn't that great last year, but it was better than it was. It was better last year than it is this year. So now, if you can expose that secondary a bit with some chunk plays, then I think I don't think Kentucky's gonna win, but I definitely think if they play a mistake-free game and play the way they've been playing since the start of the year, I definitely think they could cover this game.
See, I think this is a total sell high spot. You know, Kentucky coming off a massive win against Florida where they absolutely dominated. And then it's a buy low spot for Georgia where they're coming off a game where they really struggled, you know, for most of the game against an Auburn team, right? So general public or average bettors looking at this game, they're saying, well, you know, 14.5 points. Kentucky's looked a lot better recently than Georgia has, right? Georgia's they're 0-4-1 against the spread. So they haven't been good ATS. Kentucky's 4-1 against the spread. I like Georgia here. I think they figured some things out late against Auburn with getting the ball to Brock Bowers. Like I said, Brock Bowers only had 1 catch in the first 2.5 quarters. He finished the game with 6 catches, almost 200 yards. So
the thing is, Kentucky's defense is a lot better than Auburn. So what if they try to take away Bowers and make everybody else beat?
I think they could. I think they'll still be able to do what they need to do. I mean, if you look at who's Kentucky's played, bro, they played Ball State, they played Eastern Kentucky, they played Akron, they played Vanderbilt, and they played Florida.
Yeah, but Georgia's schedule ain't no better.
Yeah, but Georgia's a much better team. I think we both agree with that.
We're giving Georgia a lot of credit off the last 2 years, but they're not looking like the team they've been the last 2 years.
So they've won the last 13 meetings against Kentucky. However, they are 0-4 ATS in the last 4 against Kentucky. I think it changes here. I think 14.5 is a telltale sign of what the market thinks because you have that 14 in the hook. So it means that the market doesn't necessarily agree that Kentucky's good enough to catch 2 touchdowns, right? So I like Georgia minus 14.5, dude. This is honestly one of my favorite bets of the week, dude. I love these sell high buy low spots, dude. This is one of them. And you know me, Irv. I don't like laying big points, dude.
Yeah, the chalk can be your worst enemy sometimes. But I'm a lean Georgia with the points. Because if they can run the ball, Leary just makes the basic plays he needs to make. I definitely think they can cover this game. But if he turns the ball over, it might be all bad.
Yeah, it might be blouses early. All right, let's move on to our next game. We got Auburn. Alabama. Dude, Alabama fans would fucking crucify me if they heard that shit. Alabama versus A&M. This is at Texas A&M. Kyle Field, home of the 6th man. Alabama currently laying 1.5. The total's at 46.5. What do you think about this one?
Honestly, I think this game can be a shootout. But the thing about it is, Bama does like to establish the run, and Texas A&M is giving up less than 100 yards a game against the run. I think they're going to try to sell out and make Jalen Milroe beat them through the air. Now, Milroe does have the weapons to do it, but I think a big thing that's going to hurt A&M this game, they don't have Connor Wegman. Now, Johnson looked decent, but they were playing who did they play last week? Arkansas. Arkansas defense is not the same. They lost like 4 or 5 guys to the NFL. So that defense is like Swiss cheese now.
Yeah.
But Texas A&M backup QB he's gonna get his first test of the season because Bama's front seven is legit. The secondary might not be as good as it used to be, especially outside of Kool-Aid McKinstry, but this is gonna be definitely the biggest test so far for A&M's O-line and that backup quarterback. So it does help that they're at home, but honestly, Bama always finds a way to beat A&M outside of Johnny Manziel. That 1 year with Johnny Manziel, and I think a couple years ago they won, but I think I'm gonna lean Bama.
So Bama's 5-7 against the spread in their last 12 against A&M. The home team in the series is 7-4 straight up in the last 11. I do lean Bama in this game, and I actually like the under in this game. I think it's going to be a grind them out type game. I think Bama since that Texas game, I think their defense has been a lot more improved. Right, it started with that Ole Miss game. It's been a lot better lately. They've really kind of buckled things up. More like a Saban team. Against the rush, they are 65th in the country PPA. They're 54th in the country in success, 23rd in the country in success rate against the run, 54th. I think that's a big thing, dude, because like you said, A&M got a quarterback. What's his name? Johnson, and he's only played. He played against Arkansas. He threw the ball 28 times, 17 completions, 60%, 210 yards. But, obviously they're going to want to establish the run, right? I do think that the home field advantage probably helps them out, which is why, I'm not rushing to the window to back Alabama at all in this game. But I do kind of like this under, Irv. I'm not going to lie. I think this might be a fucking... just a 21-17 type game, dude. 21.
Yeah, it could be because 46.5 is low for college, but when you apply what Bama can do on defense and what Texas A&M is missing on offense, it can definitely go under. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 2017, 17-10 type game.
Dude, this might be an old school fucking battle, bro. Both these teams are good defensively. Both of them are good against the run. Both of them are good against the pass. And both got quarterbacks that you don't really trust passing the ball. So it's like both teams going to want to establish the run first and foremost. I don't know if they ever will. This might be a game of whoever turns the ball over the most loses. Which is why I don't love a side on this, but I do like that under 46.5.
Nice.
Lean Bama, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not rushing the window to back it. I think after everyone was talking shit about Saban and then what's his face, Lane Kiffin said he came out in this press conference and said, "Looks like someone else is calling defensive plays on Alabama, dude." Ever since then, bro, fucking Saban he turned shit around, dude, real quick. He said, "These motherfuckers ain't gonna talk shit about me like this. Y'all boys better get ready."
Yeah, he always claimed that he don't pay attention to the media, but he definitely does.
He definitely does, dude. Because after that shit, that was when everything kind of just flipped, dude.
And I know he's happy that NIL stuff is getting revisited because he's one of the biggest proponents against NIL being used to recruit high school players. So
and he's
expect some new NIL rules to come out pretty damn soon.
What do you think it's gonna be?
They're probably gonna crack down on those supposedly that's non-profit organizations that supposed to be owned by such and such guy, but is really being backed and propped up by booster money to push certain athletes towards that certain school. So, because that's really the gray area right now. You can't really investigate who's paying high school players and who's not because it's disguised through a shell company or alumni donor NIL collective. So they pretty much trying to crack down on that, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree because I do think that there needs to be like more of
Yeah, it can't be the Wild Wild West. Pretty
yeah,
much NIL right now is the Wild Wild West.
like I'm all for free market and stuff. Like I believe that, you know, whatever a player's worth should be his value, but it's a little insane right now, dude. Like it's just like
Yeah, you got Arch Manning sitting at Texas, ain't gonna play a snap this year.
but he's
And
making 10 million, dude.
he's gonna make like $10 or $15 million in NIL money. So
Can you imagine being a college kid making fucking 10, 15 million, bro? Just sitting there and you don't even live in a dorm at that point, bro.
what you
got a
gotta do
fucking
is
mansion,
that.
dog.
Well, most universities still have that rule that if you're a freshman, you have to live on campus. I think your first 2 years.
Bro's got a dorm. Remember Coming to
Yeah,
America where they throw a fucking jacuzzi in the apartment? That dude's living in a dorm room with a fucking jacuzzi and shit.
So yeah, Arch dorm room. He probably got a whole floor to himself. It is super decked out like a penthouse.
But I bet, you know, coming from the Mannings and shit, I bet they're pretty
Yeah, they're pretty humble. So I don't think he's letting the success or the NIL money go to his head.
that shit is fucking comedy though. It's nuts, dude. And then at the end of the day, it's like these kids, and I think a big part of why schools want this revisited is because these kids go to these schools on these NIL deals, and they end up transferring in a year or two to another school. It's like, you know, but you're getting paid. We just paid you. It's like, yeah, sorry, this school's gonna pay me more. Bye.
Yeah, I get it. Oh, they approved another rule too. They limiting the days of the days you're available in the transfer portal. I think to like 45 or 50.
As they should, bro. We shouldn't be getting transfers in like July, dude.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like they should be registered and practicing before then. And I'm for that. And a lot of times because a lot of these kids they go into the transfer portal and they don't even get picked up by another school.
Yeah, that's a big problem too.
They just end up sitting there. All right, let's talk about this next game: Oklahoma versus Texas, the Red River rivalry, or formerly known as the Red Rifle, or the Red. What was it called? The Red River
Shootout.
The Red River Shootout.
Yeah, it got to be renamed.
Texas, yeah, because of you know, all that shit.
Yeah.
Political reasons. Texas laying 6.5 to total 60.5. Irv. Oklahoma comes into this game 5-0-0 against the spread. Texas 3-2 against the spread. What do you think about this one?
This is going to be each team's first test of the season outside of Texas playing Bama, which they passed. Now, I'm more of a believer in Texas than Oklahoma because Oklahoma's played absolutely nobody, and they've looked like world beaters. I think they got a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense right now. They're probably like the only team in the country that has that.
Who?
But Oklahoma.
Yeah, if you base it on like yards and stuff.
Yeah, yardage, yeah. So, but honestly, I think this game could get ugly because last year, I know Dylan Gabriel got hurt last year, so hopefully he can stay healthy. But even with Dylan Gabriel, Texas look like so far they've turned the corner and they don't look like the team that's going to lose to a team that they're not supposed to lose to. And as far as like talent wise and in the trenches, Oklahoma hasn't been tested yet. And Texas passed the biggest test you could pass, which is Alabama. So,
yeah. Well,
as far as the front seven and the D line and the O line, well, Bama's O line is not as good as we thought it was, but their D line is for real. And Texas were able to run the ball and pretty much have their way against that Bama defense. So, unless Oklahoma's defense is better than Alabama's, I would definitely lean the over for sure. I like the over, and honestly, I like Texas minus the 6.5 because they dominated OU last year. And until I see a more competitive team and OU actually face some adversity and pass it, I think I'm gonna ride with Texas in this game.
I'm fucking torn, dude, because I agree with you in the fact that like I think Texas is the better team. They've passed a better test. They've played the better schedule. But that game last year worries me, Irv, because that's in the back of these players' minds at Oklahoma, dude. Like they got the snot beat out of them, bro. Like, they got the shit beat out of them. 8 out of the 9 last meetings between these two teams decided by 8 points or less, except for last year. That is my biggest concern, dude. And why I haven't rushed to back Texas, although you're probably on the right side. You probably are right. I do think Texas is the better team in this matchup, but that is a concern of mine. Oklahoma hasn't played nobody, dude. They've played a dog shit schedule. They're 5-0 against the spread, so it's obviously a sell high spot on them. Because, dude, who's going 6-0 against the spread? It's unheard of, bro. You know, it's very tough to do. So I'm with you, dude. Like, I lean Texas. I have no play on this game because of that, though, because I know the Oklahoma players all week, dude. All they've thought about is what happened last year, and that does concern me to some extent. And the fact that I don't always trust I don't always trust Sark.
Yeah, I know you like to rag on our boy Sark.
I just don't trust him, bro.
I get why you don't trust him. He's 7-win, 8-win Sark. He's that for a reason. So he definitely has to prove people wrong and get that monkey off his back. But just like you said, this game can go either way. It could be a close game, battle out, fight it out to the finish. But I definitely think it's going to be a high-scoring game because
think it goes over 60?
Yeah, because Kansas was able to put up points on Texas, and OU has a better offense than Kansas. The thing is, though, is OU defense ready for Texas?
That's what I'm saying. Like, cause dude, look who Oklahoma's played, bro. SMU's like the best team they played.
Exactly. Then they played Cincinnati and only won 20-6.
Yeah. Dude, this is I mean, they even struggled with Iowa State for a little bit too, dude.
Against my cat.
Yeah, at home, by the way. Yeah, man. I'm kind of with you, dude. I definitely lean Texas, dude. I don't know if I can get there, and dude, I don't know, dude. You're probably right, Irv. You're probably definitely right. You're probably right that Texas just smokes them.
They could. That's a possibility. If this game does end in a blowout, it's gonna be Texas because. Yeah. I don't see Oklahoma blowing out Texas unless Quinn Ewers just goes out there and throws like 3 pick sixes.
Because like I'm looking at like Oklahoma's advanced metrics and stuff, but it's like I can't even take them serious because of who they played. So it's like it's I lean Texas, dude. I definitely lean Texas.
I definitely am leaning Texas for sure, too.
And I'm with you. I think that over might fucking smack, dude. Might be an over type game. All right, let's get some best bets.
Let's go, y'all.
My best bet is a game we didn't talk about.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like Maryland plus 20 versus Ohio State. My other best bet is I like the over in the Boise State and San Jose State game. That's my 2, and I got one more I really like.
What's the over in that game?
59. We're going to be 59.5, 60 at most books, but I definitely think that game is going way over. And my last best bet of the games we talked about, honestly, I like Texas. Give me Texas. Minus the 6.5.
All right. My best bet is also a bet we didn't talk about. It's UCLA minus 3.5 at home against Wazoo. Again, another sell high spot with Wazoo, obviously coming off that W against Oregon State. They've done really good against the spread all year. However, this is definitely the best defense they're going to face, and they're going to be on the road at the Rose Bowl. UCLA, in my opinion, Irv, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but them in Utah, in my opinion, have the 2 best defenses in the Pac-12, and I think UCLA might have the best defense in the Pac-12 because I think they're the most well-rounded. Like, they have a great defensive line, they have a great secondary, They got a lot of depth on that defense, so I think they're going to be able to.
Yeah, but they haven't been. This is gonna be their real first test in the passing game, though.
It is, but I mean, they went into Utah and really like held. I mean, they held Utah to like nothing if it wasn't for a turnover.
Yeah, that's true. So, but Utah doesn't have a quarterback. You've seen what Oregon.
But it's at Utah, and like literally UCLA's offense at Utah. And I told you this was gonna happen. Like Dante Moore at Utah, like that's a tough place to play, bro. Now he's at home at the Rose Bowl, big game. I like UCLA in this spot, -3.5.
Especially for a true freshman. Yeah, I can see UCLA taking that.
And then I also like another game. I hate betting against Wyoming, dude, on the road, but I'm taking Fresno -6. Fresno's outscored Wyoming 92-10 in the last 3 meetings against Wyoming. That includes a meeting in Laramie. I just think Fresno's a better team, dude. I just don't think Wyoming can keep up. And also, Fresno's defense has been really impressive to me this year. So I like Fresno -6 there. And then I'm going to take a bet from this show. We're going to take Georgia -14.5. Which we already talked about, so I'm not going to talk about more. So I like those 3. So Irv got Maryland +20. Boise, San Jose State over 59.5, Texas -6.5. I got UCLA -3.5, Fresno -6, and Georgia -14.5. I also like Cal, but I won't give that out as the best bet because it's just a very strong lean at this point. But Cal at home, homecoming game against Oregon State. Love those spots, dude. Love those spots, Irv. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this episode. We're talking college football and MLB postseason. When's the first DS game? It starts. Is it Friday or Saturday, Irv?
For what?
For the Division Series for MLB. Is it Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
Friday. Nice. So everybody enjoy that. We'll be giving out best bets on those on Twitter. Follow Irv at Swerving Irving TSP. Follow myself at Jordan Rules TSP. Make sure to go download Sharps app on your mobile device. Track your bets. Become a better. Use promo code Jordan517 on there. For Swerving Irving Washington, I'm Jordan Stacks on Stacks. We'll catch y'all later. Have a blessed weekend. Let's get this fucking money, y'all. Peace.